Yeah, but the first thing I should ask you is, Jay, why did you choose Lithuania? I mean, it's a European country. We all know that, but we haven't heard about it.
Um, I didn't really want to go to some country that was very much populated. I wanted to pay much more attention to the type of university I go in, and this city was giving me that, as well as I wasn't doing mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or IT. I was doing something like marine engineering. So for me, it was much more beneficial if I go to a port city, which Klaipeda is. So that's why I chose this city and this university.
Yeah, seems to be a nice choice. But let me ask you, how is, I mean, how is stuff there right now? I mean, you have what is the lockdown situation there due to the pandemic?
Well, we do not have a lockdown. We have a quarantine, which is just stay at home if possible, and if you're not an essential worker, try and avoid going outside. So basically, I can go out anytime I want, but I have to maintain certain amount of social distancing, which is like
Yeah.
6 feet, and that's very easy, but considering the low population in comparison, obviously. But in reality, also the population is pretty low, so it's not very difficult to observe social distancing.
I must ask you this question. I mean, you have this like 4 years of engineering that you have done in Lithuania. So,
Mhm.
what do you plan for the future? What are you gonna do?
For me, my basic future plan is if I find a job in this country, then I'll do the work here. But if I don't, then I'll most probably start doing masters. I like the city, so I want to stay here, to be honest. But if it doesn't happen, then I'll go and do my masters.
Okay, but sounds like a plan. But I know like we are all middle class people, so it also comes with a hefty amount of money, right? So that is also you got to keep that in mind, right?
Mhm. But in a way, when you study in India, if you are studying outside your city, then there is a hefty cost you pay. If you consider your university fees and your living cost and your traveling cost, because if you are staying there, then the amount of times you will travel back home is much more higher. Like you were traveling every single month or every 2 months you would travel back home, and that also affects, like, in general the entire
Yeah,
cost
you have to look at
wasn't
it
that
like
different. It was just 20-30% more.
yeah, I get that. But like you have like 4 years of engineering, like pretty much similar to me. Okay, but uh, yeah, I know that I am like in India and you did it from a foreign country. But I must ask you this: that have you even had an ounce of doubt in your mind about doing something else 4 years ago, or are you pretty
Well,
satisfied?
4 years ago I was much more inclined for aeronautical engineering, as you might have known. But I got into this university first and I started my procedures already. And then a week later, I had to start the procedures for that university. And therefore, I ended up over here. So initially, there were a few regrets. Then, when I started completed my education over here, my biggest regret was not learning or not educating myself in a foreign language much more common, because initially I was running away from the population, but right now I feel like if I would have gone to a much more populated place, then the job opportunities would have been higher. And it's like a battle you have to fight with your own self, or it's a balance you have to maintain, like because with people comes more job opportunities, and because I wanted less people, I have less job opportunities in this city.
Yeah, so
But I don't regret
we
it a
all,
lot.
yeah. The thing is, like, most of us pretty much decide our careers based on like how much they will like if they can provide us jobs or if they can provide us with a nice amount of money, right? I mean, most of us do it. So we also did that, right? But I think,
I don't think so.
okay,
I don't
what,
think so because we just assume that we are taking that under consideration, but it's just most of the things that influence our judgment is the social norm that we have. Half of the youth that goes into university doesn't know what kind of a field they are entering in, what future they are going to have, or if they would even be invested or interested in that particular future after 5 years or 10 years of period. Because if you see in India, most of the people that have studied in certain fields have
yeah,
not had an actual career in that field. They would have
yeah.
pivot
So
from
they
that
think,
career. Obviously,
mm,
the unemployment has a role to play in it, but more than that, I would say people just pivot towards the things that they have some admiration towards, or they feel like this is their hobby or this is what they do. So they move towards that. Or in certain cases, which is much more common to us, they move towards inherited businesses because Gujarat is a business
yeah,
oriented state.
Gujarat, as well as the whole India, we see it all the time, like
Yeah, I wouldn't
rural
generalize the
inherit
whole of India
processes.
because I haven't traveled a lot and I don't know a lot about everything in India, but Gujarat, yes.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much that case. Yeah, we know that. But see, we are like in a this stage of our lives and our careers where we sometimes think about existentialism and sometimes think that what we really want to do with our lives, right? So, what do you think? Like,
Hmm.
what is your ultimate goal of life, if you want to like just to put it into in a few words?
Mm, Ultimately, I think you know this that I want to write a book before I'm 40, or if I
Yeah,
haven't done it by then the next timeline will be by 45. So if I don't have a published book out by 40, then I most probably will leave all the things behind and start working on the book from 40 to 45. And I'm pretty sure I would be damn frustrated by 40 to be good enough to write a book.
but I think that is where the beauty lies in it, right? I mean, we have this one thing that we are doing and we are earning money from that. And we have this other thing which is like a pretty much of a hobby or a passion kind of thing. And we're like
Mhm.
sometimes torn between both of those things as to what should be given more importance in our lives. And that is where the like where the dilemma lies. So what do you think about it?
Well, if you work on your passion, or
Yeah.
if you start working really hard on your hobby, then it will give you money. It will give you money as well as a name for it because you are working on something you like. But if you're working in a field that you don't like, but it is providing you money, and if you think that money is something you're looking for, then give it all your time, and maybe you will have certain amount of admiration for that field after a while because uh, not in a negative way, but you will get much more used to it, and therefore you will consider that much more normal for you. Not suggesting it for anyone and everyone, but if you are someone who is not able to afford or not able to be open enough to go and follow your dreams, then this is not a bad thing to do. Because if everybody wanted to be an artist and nobody wanted to study physics, then how will we like move forward with technology and how will we move forward as a society?
I think there is one. bigger thing in this, that see, most of us, I mean, I don't really know most of us, but at least a few of them, I think, looking after that work-life kind of balance, right? And because of that, they really are only concerned with their jobs and not more concerned with what they're actually learning, right? And so, I mean, this is a very big problem in India too, that we don't have that work-life balance. Plus, even if we would have had that kind of thing in India, still people would have been like, no, we don't want to be indulging into something. We just want to do our jobs and return to our homes. It gives us money. That's it. That's what I'm concerned for. Right.
Well, there is a reason there are so many HR jokes. Like HR, what are they doing? They are just making events during festives. But the main job of HR is to make sure that you are satisfied in your
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And if you are not satisfied with your work, then they are supposed to inspire you with some other artistic things, artistic events, so that your artistic side is also like has been given all that it needs, and therefore you are able to show what you have artistically and then go back to working on your desk.
Yeah.